It is finally Friday. Friday the 11th of 2025. Is that right? April 11th?
That's correct. That is correct.
Just wanted to double check just to make sure, because some reason it felt like it was going to be a Friday the 13th. I don't know why. I just had that odd feeling. Welcome to the program as we head into what is Palm Sunday weekend, isn't it?
That's correct.
So be prepared for that, for your church services and everything this coming Sunday. Just ahead, we'll take a look at what happened in the meeting last night. Our Aaron Glandon was there for the revamping of what's happening with the plans for Chillicothe Park and the streets around them. So that's coming up shortly. Also up ahead, sports and this date in history, plus our Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual, Litter Media Player of the Week presented by Homeland Credit Union. Want to make sure I had it all straight in my head before it rolled out my lips there. But first, let's start with the weather forecast to let you know how the weather is shaping up as we head into the weekend. And those runners for the $1.50 are starting off with some cold weather this morning.
Yeah, should get a break in the rain at least today. Mostly cloudy skies for today as well as tomorrow with highs of 52. Partly sunny on Sunday with a high 59. And then Monday, a mixture of sun and a chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for Monday afternoon.
And this is great weather for running. If you've ever been a distance runner, you like the weather to be a little cooler because your body radiates a lot of heat, and nobody likes to sweat and keep wiping your brow the whole run and everything. That's why they are happy to be back in April instead of July when they ran it during COVID. All right, coming up in a moment to look at news, but first let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. They do more than provide dumpsters. They also have other things they do, like clean up, and they can help clean up properties, clean out buildings, that kind of thing, demo buildings. You want to find out more? Give them a call, 740-253-8389.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Littermedia.com is where you'll find a lot of the information we talk about here on the show. Looky there. That's our lead news guy. Speaking of Ross County Commissioner Jack Everson. So we'll jump right into our show today.
Glad I didn't say Jack Nicholson. Ross County Commissioner Jack Everson was our special edition guest yesterday, where he had updates on several projects and issues, and it included future planning for the former CNB LCNB building, as well as the Ross County complex. But Jack talks mostly here about what could happen to the former bank building.
The idea is to move the prosecutor's office over to the courthouse, so that would be an entirely judicial building, and then have the LCNB bank building be the new county administrative offices. So there's a number of options to that. One thing that we're looking at is to relocate the administrative offices either into the Folk Block or into the maybe Big Bear building down in Central Center, and combine that up with the service center. And that would centralize the administrative offices, it would centralize the judicial system, and then the building that was the old LCMB building would be either revamped. It would be sold on the open market, or it would be made into a parking garage for downtown, a 3-story parking garage.
And you can see that entire interview, if you missed it live yesterday morning, on our Litter Media YouTube site. You can go also to our website, storylittermedia.com, and the interview is embedded inside.
Chillicothe City Council got together yesterday for some of its representatives, and our Aaron Glandon was there to file a report for us.
Yeah, the big things that were talked about at the review meeting was no roundabouts on Water Street, and everybody cheered. But there is going to be this roundabout on Yoctangi and Mill, which mostly people were fine with. And then Water Street is changing from a 4-lane road to a 3-lane road with a shared turn lane. And there's going to be some more room for backing up if you're parked at one of the businesses on Water Street, which I think is a good change.
So you don't have to back into traffic.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
I like that. Yeah. I'm going to put this plea out right now to Michelle Turon and Nick Turon. They are the band directors for Chillicothe High School. I want to see the marching band go through that roundabout when it's ready to go and just kind of go around in circles a little bit. I think that would be so cool. Because when they, before a Chillicothe football game, they have the police lead the band. They march down across over to Arch Street and then make their way to the game on Friday nights. Why not start with a trip through the roundabout when it's completed and ready to go?
One of the concerns that someone had was, well, kids walk home from school and they're going to have to navigate this roundabout now, and they don't know how to do that. And there will be a learning curve, is what the people on the council said, but they looked at the statistics from Hilliard after they did something similar, and the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a lot safer after everybody gets used to the roundabouts.
The learning curve on a roundabout is a complete circle. It's amazing.
Yes. Curve. Yeah.
Well, thank you for covering that. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, Dave.
And the room erupted in applause, I hear.
It would be cool if it did.
When you walked in,
but it didn't happen.
they erupted in
Yeah,
applause?
that's when it did.
Following the recent flooding in Chillicothe Park, the annex there in Yoctangi Park has now fully reopened for use to the public. And so if you're playing softball on the diamonds down there, just kick whatever fish might be lying. I didn't take a look. I didn't see if the water got up that high or not. I imagine
it was
may
up there in the
have.
parking lot there. Yeah. Also, Chillicothe City School District Orchestra boosters are hosting a yard sale inside the Chillicothe Middle School. That is coming up 9 a.m. to 2 tomorrow. They're raising funds for their upcoming trip to Disney World, and they only will be accepting cash.
And I'm hearing that while they're at Disney World, they're going to be working with some of the Disney Orchestra members. So get some extra hands-on help, as it were. Congratulations to Westfall High School and their Future Problem Solvers team, which placed third in the state in their Problem Solving Action Plan contest. The PAP contest is a competition in which students working in teams apply a 6-step problem-solving process to real-world issues and develop action plans to address them.
Circleville Firefighters Local 1232 is holding an Easter egg hunt tomorrow, 11 a.m., and that will be in Ted Lewis Park.
Time to head to Turkey Creek Lake because it's time for a Trout Derby. Portsmouth Area JC supporting the Shawnee State Forest Trout Derby. It's coming up April 26th. It's open to the whole family, and the first place winner will go home with a brand new kayak. They'll provide a free lunch for all participants and give away fishing poles to the first 20 kids who bring in a homemade cane pole. They also need more sponsors, so if you're interested in doing that, reach out to Trout Derby Chairman Gary Jenkins. Here's his number. It's 740-370-5303. And again, this is happening down in the Portsmouth area at Shawnee State Park.
Registration is underway now for this summer's Liberty Camp, which is July 28th through August 1st at Chillicothe First Presbyterian Church. The camp, which is geared towards kids aged 9 through 12, to teach them about our nation's founding, the Revolutionary War, soldiers, King George, our founding fathers, and more. Camp is, again, geared to 9 through 12. If you'd like to attend, contact Trudy Arledge at 775-8755.
I believe this fellow has participated in this as well, Dave Daughters. He passed away yesterday at the age of 74. Dave and his wife, Rosie, of course, owned and operated the Dairy Queens here in Chillicothe for a number of years, and now son Ben is running them. Dave was also a docent for the Ross County Historical Society and an avid Harley-Davidson owner and rider. He was a member of the group that was called the Hogs, Harley Owner Group here in Chillicothe. So our thoughts are with Rosie and the rest of the family. Dave was a super nice guy. Yeah, really a nice guy.
Our road report today takes us to Pickaway County. State Route 762 between US 23 and Asheville Pike will have various lane restrictions through the fall for pavement repairs. Two-way traffic will be maintained with the use of flaggers.
All right, coming up, a look at sports. But first, let's tell you about...
Well, give me time to scroll.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give me time to scroll to the ad.
He was looking for your teaser. Yeah.
Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor, one of our proud sponsors. We appreciate them. If you'd like to learn more about the services they provide, heating, cooling, and plumbing, and how they can help you in your environment of your home or your business, click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to AccurateHVAC.com.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Time for what everyone loves, and that's sports. I think everybody likes sports.
You like sports?
Or a high percentage of people like sports.
I like football.
He likes football.
That's a sport.
That's a sport.
I have no real strong feelings towards other sports, but I love football, and I hate soccer.
He can say that while he's off camera.
Right.
See, so nobody
throws anything
have him
at
on record as saying he doesn't like sports.
Yeah.
So you like sport?
Sport.
I like watching basketball and baseball.
Once again,
I'm
he's
not
off camera,
strongly opinionated about
and
it.
he is keeping himself away.
I don't really have any basketball or baseball teams that I root for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing in Ohio to root for. So.
Right.
In sports, late breaking story that we just got information on early this morning. Waverly High School has hired a new boys basketball coach in Taryn Jarrett. He comes from Byesville Meadowbrook. He replaces Kyle Bradley, who resigned following this past season. Did communicate with athletic director Bo Arnett. They said that they're meeting with Taryn later today and hope to get us a little bit of biography on Coach Jarrett so we can put up a website story possibly later tonight.
But I did some investigation. He is a Bealsville High School graduate. Played
Bealsville?
basketball at BEALLS.
Where's that?
VILLE. It's, I believe, in Ohio.
Huh.
And he played ball at Muskingum College, or is it university now? Mm-hmm. So we know that much about him, and he was at Meadowbrook at least for 1 year. I looked back to see what the coaching record was for who was there before this past season, and on Max Preps they had nothing.
Gotcha.
So we know a little bit about him.
So hopefully more info on a web story if Bo gets it to me later.
He can coach basketball. We know that.
Well, supposedly, yes. The R.L. Davison Track and Field Championships held out at Southeastern last night. Adena girls and Zane Trace boys took the team titles. If you'd like to get all of the individual results, you can go to our scoreboard page at littermedia.com and find that. Also, Dan, you can pick up right there with your first score and then take off from there.
Chillicothe Volleyball, 3-0 winner over Grove City last night in 25-11, 25-18, and 25-11. So they took care of that against the Greyhounds. The high school FAC track and field dates have been changed to May 12th and 14th. So day one activities will take place at Hernstein Field at the Obadiah Harris Family Athletic Complex on the 12th, and then they'll wrap things up with the finals on Wednesday, May 14th. Now, this was done to avoid possible conflict with graduations for some of the FAC schools. It seems early for graduation. I wonder if some of the seniors would be out of school already by then.
I'd guess
if
so.
that might be part of it, too.
Which was probably going to be happening that weekend, like Friday or Saturday. So.
Yeah. And did we have more high school scores?
Yes, I believe we do. Baseball last night. This was a dandy non-conference matchup. Chillicothe beating Uniota 3-2. Circleville was a winner. So was Waverly, Jackson, Piketon, Wheelersburg, and Athens. White Oak was a winner over Peebles. Over in softball, Lady Cavaliers of Chillicothe losing for the first time this season, but it was out of conference, but against that team outside town. Uniota beat them 1-0 in a pitcher's duel. London beat Miami Trace. Clay over Ripley. Notre Dame beat Raceland. That's in Kentucky. South Point over East Carter out of Kentucky. And Ironton over Ashland Blazer in Kentucky. SOC Softball West was a winner. OCC winners Taze Valley and Lancaster. Peebles in the Shack, and Southern in the TVC.
Do you want to stay active and enjoy your summer at the same time? Oh, I'm sorry. You can play tennis.
Yes, you can. And I used to.
Chillicothe picked up a win over Hillsborough yesterday, 4-1. Noah Flores now 6-0 to start this season. And Portsmouth Clay was walloped by Waverly, 4-1.
And we have since added some information on Waverly's players last night. We did not have that last night, but it's been since added this morning.
Very good. Now on to the YMCA. They've got co-ed sand volleyball right around the corner. They'd love to have you. Play all games in the sand courts in the park next to the city pool. The registration deadline is May 29th if you've not signed up to do so. I don't know how long this is going to go. It says for 7 weeks because they use that sand also downtown for sand in the streets. So they'll have to get the season wrapped up before they scoop all that sand out and take it downtown.
Right. Justin Rose is atop the leaderboard after round one of probably the most prestigious golf tournament in the United States. Now, the Brits would argue that it's bigger than anything in where the sport was invented over in England. But Masters Golf Tournament down in Augusta in round two is already underway this morning.
A tradition like no other.
Yes.
The Masters. The Guardians picked up a win in baseball yesterday, beating the White Sox 6-1. Reds were off last night. They will host the Pittsburgh Pirates this evening.
NBA action, Cleveland Cavaliers fall to the Pacers, 114-112, and CBJ rallied from 2 down to beat Buffalo 3-2.
That was exciting. And then after the game, I didn't know that they did this, but it has been a tradition for a long time. Fans can win the opportunity to go down on the ice and then receive the jersey from one of the players. So last night there were a number of fans that were holding the player's picture, and the player would skate over and take off his jersey and visit with the fan for a while, and it was a really neat thing. And when you can do that after a win, it's a happy day for everybody. This is a happy day, too. Joe Flacco is back in Cleveland.
How about that?
Agreed to terms today with the Cleveland Browns, got that squared away. And so now the question is, Of course, they've got along with Kenny Pickett.
Pickett.
And Deshaun Watson is still on the roster, but he's rehabbing. Don't count on seeing him probably again in a Cleveland Browns uniform. But everyone's wondering, are they going to take Shedeur Sanders or are they going to take Cam Ward? If he's available, I got to believe now that they've got a quarterback that they can start the season with and a backup, that they're going to look at maybe Travis Hunter, which is probably the best all-around athlete in the draft, and maybe get in a good quarterback in the next round.
We'll see.
Because they pick at 33, so they have the first pick in the second round of the draft, and there's discussion of them potentially trading up to pick 20. So somebody like Sanders might still be available by then.
And that's coming up in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah. The draft, that is.
Yes, NFL draft, yes. And the Buckeyes will hold their spring game tomorrow, and that starts at noon. They'll have TV coverage on the Big Ten Network if you want to take a look at that. And you mentioned that the big ring reveal is going to take place as well. Huh?
They were teasing us yesterday. Ryan Day, they showed him in a video opening the box, but they would never let you peer down with the camera to see the ring. So
everybody likes a good tease.
Oh, yeah.
and that was the tease right there. Time to announce this week's Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual, Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And that is Noah Flores.
Had a great start. He's 6-0 after last night. So somebody else in his family was a pretty good tennis player.
Yeah, Bella.
Yeah, his sister.
I'd like to see he and Bella go at it. I'm sure they have.
I'm sure they have played. I wonder if Dad gets into this.
He might.
He's the coach there at Chillicothe also. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Noah. You can see all of this year's players so far on our website, littermedia.com. Just click on Players of the Week. And if you'd like to make a nomination, send your nominations in to littermedia@gmail.com. And if you've got extra information you'd like to pass on about the athlete, please do so as well. All right, coming up, this date in history.
1921.
The Roaring Twenties on the way.
We want to tell you about Litter Quality Propane. They have online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Haynes Total Healthcare Center, you'll find them at 1 Health Drive here in Chillicothe, just off Marietta. And when you're there, you can have your appointment and have your back feel better, your neck feel better. Maybe you've had headaches and things of that sort, and just a slight adjustment. Maybe you've had a problem with your foot and you can't figure out what it is. You might have a bone out of place. They can take care of all that. If you'd like to learn more, click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It takes you to HaynesHealth.com. Going on right now, Hometown Motors Incorporated, 818 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe, their spring sales event. Why not start off the Easter holiday season with something where you can mow the lawn and you'll be able to see all those eggs you're hiding out there, right? So new riding tractors starting at $169.99.99, or maybe you want to hide all those eggs beforehand and then have egg salad all over the place. New zero-turn mowers starting at $33.99.99. New walk-behind starting at $399.99. New chainsaw starting at $279.99. Also new blowers starting at $199.99. And new trimmers starting at $229.99. Hurry in to get the best selection. With prices like this, they'll not last long. Hometown Motors, your store for the outdoors. Time for this date in history.
1921. This radio station, KDKA in Pittsburgh, apparently was a station of first. They were the first commercial radio station on the air in North America. And on this date in 1921, they became the radio station with the first live sporting event on radio, a boxing match between Johnny Ray and Johnny Dundee.
The Johnny and Johnny Show.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Pittsburgh Daily Post sports editor Florent Gibson called the action 4 months before KDKA's Harold Arlen announced the first Major League Baseball game broadcast on radio. The lightweight bout pitted Dundee, who was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991, against Ray, who would later train and manage famed boxer Billy Conn. And it all started on the radio on this date in 1921.
Trying to recall what weight class the lightweight is. Is that like 125 pounders? Something like that?
And who knows whether it's exactly the same as it was in 1921.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Only radio station that I'm aware of, a commercial station that still has K to start the call letters east of the Mississippi.
Yeah. That great dividing line.
What's up with that?
The Mississippi River.
The Great Muddy, yeah. Or the Big Muddy, yeah.
You know, all the years we spent in radio, I never took time to learn why. Why W's over there, why K's over there.
Now, when you got into radio, did you have to take a test for your third class? See, I did. Yeah. And that was on the test.
Was it?
But it was 100 years ago, so I don't remember. Yeah. I passed, and I got my third class permit.
I want to say it was the Reagan administration had eased the FCC regulations on that.
Yep.
And so I had started a broadcast school, American School of Broadcasting. This would have been, well, no, it wouldn't have been the Reagan administration. It would have been the Carter administration.
Well,
because Reagan wasn't president yet when I went to the broadcast school.
What year did you go?
1980. He was elected in 80. And my first assignment was to cover the Republican headquarters at Pike County because he had just been elected president. So I'm guessing it was then the Carter administration.
Well, it would
used
be
that.
technically.
So, yeah. But at any rate, when I started the broadcast school, they handed us these applications. They said, you got good news. You don't have to go take the test anymore.
How about that?
What? Does that mean you have to stop, or you can stop teaching about the test?
So the second and first class, they still had to take the test for a few years because that was like engineers.
Oh, yeah.
That was real serious.
That's where you had to learn what kilowatts were and what the cycles were and all this kind of stuff and everything.
You could blow some things up back there in that transmitter room.
And now you can walk right off the street and sit down. I mean, look at Lori Graves with her instant success at Hank FM. And I don't think she ever attended a broadcast class.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was tougher. Yeah. Oh, well.
We're going to be visiting with Lori here sometime soon to talk more about events coming up at the Majestic Theater. So look for that. And she's invited me to sit in with her on one of her shows.
Well, now you're going to get in trouble if you don't do the same for Christina in the afternoon.
Well,
your old buddy.
Chris hasn't invited me yet. So
well, when she hears out you're coming in to see Lori, she'll probably put up a fuss on that one.
It would be so cool because if that happens, when it happens, I will be back in the building that started my Chillicothe history in broadcasting, which was inside the Falk block.
Yeah.
Only
different floor.
I'll be on the ground floor as opposed to in the penthouse.
Yeah.
The studios used to be located up in the penthouse on top of the Falk block, and When I first started working here in Chillicothe, that's where we were.
You know, saying you're on the ground floor sounds impressive, but so does being in the penthouse.
Yeah.
So which is better in this case?
Well, it depends on if you're the Jeffersons or not.
Moving on up.
On the east side.
And now with your age, being on the ground floor is better than climbing
Amen to that.
to the penthouse, yeah.
Well, we had an elevator.
Oh, well, that's better.
That elevator went to the third floor? Yeah, I think there's 3 floors to the Folk Block, and then the penthouse is the 4th. But so you did have to walk up steps. Back then, Ron Fuster was kind of a silent partner in all this, but Burl Adkins was the owning operator of the event, of the radio station. And that day that I went in for the job interview, I parked over, I think it was on Payne Street, walked into the Folk Block, and this gentleman opened the door for me. We walked through, and I walked with him to the elevator. We stood and we rode in the elevator. And as we came out of the elevator, he was walking to the radio station. And I said, "Sir, I'm not following you, but I'm also going to," and then come to find out he's the guy that I was going to be talking to later in regards to employment. And so thank you to Burl and Joyce Adkins giving me the opportunity to start here. Lee Stevens, a.k.a. Steven Streitenberger, he was the guy who interviewed me. And he says, "When can you start?" I'm like, "Well, whenever you want me to." Okay. Yeah. And next thing you know, I'm at the Ross County Fair, one of my first assignments. And then I got to meet Ron Fuster.
Yeah.
Ron came over and he said, "So to get those things worked out with the speakers and all this kind of stuff?" And I said, "What? I'm sorry, sir. Who are you?" I'm Ron Fuster. Yeah. I own the radio station. Oh, yes, sir. Steve's working on that right now.
Yeah. I knew Burl years before that, but not anything to do with the radio because I was playing VFW baseball with his son, Phil.
Yeah.
So that's how we had our connection. So.
Phil and Joyce still come to Chillicothe Cavalier events. And last time I saw Joyce was at a Cavalier basketball game, and she was walking through the door, and we're like, "Hey, how you doing?" So, all right. That's where radio began for me here in Chillicothe, yes. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll get you caught up to date with what's happening soon. I'm going to be out and about at the start for the Buck 50. Our Aaron Glandon, bring yourself on camera so people will recognize you.
The camera died.
We're frozen, so we don't know if he's... There he is. He's just hanging out like he always does.
It was. I don't know. It was. It was fine earlier. I don't know what
blood
the
will run
is.
to your head if you don't stop doing that. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
He's up right now.
You're going to be out and about with... is it all day tomorrow, or are you going to pop in, pop out? What are you going to do?
Well, you told me to be at the finish line from about 1 to 4.
Yeah, so you're going to hang out for all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay. They're going to have food trucks and I think bouncy houses and all that kind of stuff also up at OUC. And that's where it's so cool to see them come running in together. Usually that last 100 yards or so, the members of the team, because this is a 10-person team and in some instances 5-person team that runs those 150 yards, they will join arms and come running in together, as a team. And then the kids from Maid will put the medallions over their necks, and it'll be a great crowning moment for the participants in the Buck 50. Let's make it a safe Buck 50. And watch out for the runners. They'll be out on the roadway. Pay attention to the signs and share the road, because this is all for a good cause. 121 teams will be out there.
Yeah.
So you're talking roughly 1,200 people.
That's a lot of folks.
That is a lot of folks, plus volunteers who are helping too. So if you're a participant, thank you. If you are a volunteer helping out, thank you as well. Our hats off to you for what you're doing to help keep kids off drugs. All right. We're back at it again next week. See you soon on another edition of Litter Media Live.